Hello there and welcome back. Today we're gonna do something I've always wanted to do, and that's an iceberg. And I'm gonna do it with one of my favorite games, and that's Sonic CD. Yes, Sonic CD is one of my favorite classic games. Fight me about it. I liked it before any of y'all thought that shit was cool, alright? No, I'm just kidding. Let's just get straight to it. Time travel is a core game mechanic allowing movement between the past, the present, and the future, which you can go by finding the signs that says past and future, which can change the way the stage looks and the layout of said stage. The Sega CD is the original hardware platform that Sonic CD came out on back in December 12, 1991, and the game came out in September 23, 1993. Japanese/European version of Sonic CD features a different soundtrack than the US version. The Japanese soundtrack is more of an upbeat and uses vocal tracks, while the US soundtrack is more darker and more atmospheric, which was composed by Spencer Nielsen. The game opens with an animated cutscene set to "You Can Do Anything" in the Japanese version and "Sonic Boom" for the US version. These themes are beloved and iconic within the Sonic the Hedgehog community and still loved to this day. A remastered version of Sonic CD released with updated features, widescreen support, made by the GOAT Christian Whitehead, who also worked on the ports of Sonic 1 and 2, and he also worked in Mania, and was gonna work on Sonic 3, but it never happened. In Sonic CD, if the player leaves Sonic idle for 3 minutes without moving him, he would tap his foot impatiently and look at the screen. Eventually, if no input is detected, Sonic would leap off screen while saying, "I'm out of here," ending the level and making the player lose a life. This is one of the few instances classic Sonic actually speaks and breaks the fourth wall. This is a hidden message that can be found in the game through a specific debug code. The screen shows a disturbing image of Sonic with the phrase "Fun is infinite" written both in English and in Japanese, a tribute to Majin, which can be interpreted as devil or demon in Japanese. The screen has been a source of mystery and creepy theories among fans. The boss music in the US version of Sonic CD is way different than the Japanese/European version. Once again composed by Spencer Nielsen, the US boss theme is much darker and more intense, featuring a heavy industrial sound with a fast tempo and eerie undertones. The track uses deep distortion, synths, and metallic percussion, creating a sense of urgency and danger that contrasts sharply with the lighter, which the Japanese and European version is a more whimsical tone. The Game Over theme in the US version of Sonic CD is another track that highlights the stark difference in the tone between the US and Japanese and European soundtracks. The US Game Over theme is another eerie, somber, and unsettling, featuring a low, descending melody that creates a sense of despair and finality. The music is minimalistic with haunting synth tones and a sense of emptiness that emphasizes the player's failure. In each past version of a zone, there is a robot transporter that Sonic must destroy to prevent Eggman's robots from taking over the future. If you destroy both in each zone, you will get the good future once you reach the boss zone. And if you break every single one in every single zone and get the time stones, you'll get the good ending. As well as the robot transporters, you also got the Metal Sonic holograms, which project image of Metal Sonic's hurting animals, I guess, found in the past stages as well. These are not really necessary for the good ending, but if you find them and break every single one, you'll also get an achievement. This is a theory of Sonic CD taking place before Sonic 2 in the Sonic timeline, which I think has been confirmed true. I gotta look at it later. This short entry is just Knuckles being playable in Sonic CD as part of the Sonic Origins collection. In Sonic CD, one of the way the game stands out is the unique bosses, which are distinct from those in other Sonic titles. Each boss is designed to complement the time travel mechanic and the game's unique art style, providing a fresh experience that aligns with the game's theme. In Sonic CD, the special stages feature colorful, rapidly flashing backgrounds, which some players have found to be a bit overwhelming or potentially triggering for those with photosensitive epilepsy. Another short entry just talking about how Amy Rose first appears in Palmtree Panic on the first act of the first zone. The game contains several secret messages that can be found / accessed through the debug mode or by performing specific actions. These messages were left by the developers and include Easter eggs, jokes, and sometimes cryptic or unsettling content like the fun is infinite message. Speaking of the debug mode, this allows players to explore levels freely and uncover secret elements. In Sonic CD, the past themes are more unique because they use an uncompressed CPM format, unlike the CD quality audio of the other time pyramids. Stored within the game data rather than on the disc, these tracks have a chiptune-like sound, making them feel retro and fitting for the time travel theme. This approach also saved space on the disc while giving the past themes a distinctive, older audio style. In Sonic CD, R2/track 02 is an unused soundtrack found in the game's data. Likely meant for a scrapped level or scenario or cutscene, the track has an unfinished experimental vibe. Its discovery has intrigued fans, adding to the game's development mystery. In Sonic CD, the hidden message Holdout Programmer was left by developers as a motivational note during the game's creation, reflecting the challenges and determination involved in its development. Special Stage 8 is a removed or just a hidden special stage in Sonic CD which you can access in the debug mode using this code, and it's a special stage where you have Dr. Robotnik in the background just staring at you. In the 2011 remake of Sonic CD, someone altered or removed some of the lyrics in the original Japanese soundtrack, possibly due to licensing issues or to better fit the game's re-release format. Desert Dazzle was a zone planned for the 2011 remake of Sonic CD, but was ultimately scrapped. The zone would have been a desert theme, providing a new environment not seen in the original game. But it was also used in Sonic Mania, turned into Mirage Saloon. Final Fever was another scrapped level, which was intended to be a final boss stage in the original game, but was cut before release. Some elements from this stage may have been reused or repurposed in other areas of the game. The Sonic CD title screen is a popular meme template in the Sonic fan community. Featuring Sonic with a catchy theme, it's often edited or parodied with humorous, nostalgic twists, becoming a versatile piece of fan creativity. The You Can Do Anything theme from Sonic CD is a little bit similar to Green Hill's music with its upbeat, catchy melody and energetic style, which both share a bright, adventurous feel, reflecting the classic Sonic musical tone. The Bad Future theory in Sonic CD posits that it's the true ending, reflecting a darker, inevitable outcome if Sonic fails. Proponents see it as more of a profound commentary on the consequences of failure, despite the game's other more optimistic endings. Several prototype versions of Sonic CD have surfaced over the years, showing early versions of levels, mechanics, and designs that were changed or removed in the final game. These prototypes offer a glimpse into the early development process of Sonic CD. In Sonic CD, beta versions of the game reveal unused or altered boss designs that were changed before the final release. Some of these are like in Wacky Workbench and Stardust Speedway, which had different bosses in the beta version. These bosses often had different mechanics or appearances before being replaced or redefined in the final game. Throughout the game's code, there are several sprites and objects that were not used in the final release. These include alternate animations for Sonic, different enemy designs, and objects that may have been intended for cut levels. In Sonic CD, there are unused music loops found in the game's data that were never included in the final version. These tracks, discovered through data mining, were likely intended for various levels or scenarios, but removed before the release. They feature different musical styles or variations that were considered during development, but ultimately not implemented into the game. This is speculated to be an early name for Palmtree panning. Some fans believe this name was a placeholder or an intentional name used by developers during the game's early stages. In Sonic CD, the early version of the past theme for Palmtree panning features uncompressed audio files. These files, discovered through data mining, offer a raw chiptune-like quality that contrasts with the final compressed version used in the game. The uncompressed audio showcase the initial sound design and musical composition intended for the past version of this level, providing insight into the game's early development phase and how the music evolved before the final release. In Sonic CD, Sonic the Hedgehog Remix is a reworked version of the original theme from the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. Featured in the Japanese version, it blends the classic theme with Sonic CD's fresh musical style, highlighting Sonic's evolving music ideas. In Wacky Workbench, there's two statues you can find, one in the bad future and one in the past. The bad future is one where Robotnik takes over everything and he has his own statue. And the past is a mysterious woman who's known as a goddess. And when you walk up to her statue, she gives you some rings. That's pretty much it. In Sonic CD, collecting 999 rings in Wacky Workbench is an Easter egg or challenge that players can attempt. When Sonic collects 999 rings, a special sound effect is triggered and the game displays a message or animation as a reward for achieving this challenge. And it's not easy, as it requires precise navigation and skill to gather such a large number of rings in a single level. It's not fun. Trust me. Just like, imagine you're at 900 and you get hit once. You're just cooked. You're done. I wonder, I don't think I can even do this, but let me know if you guys have, and if you did, you're fucking him, I guess. I don't know, man. In Collision Chaos, there's a hidden pathway in the ceiling that can be accessed with specific movements or techniques, leading to hidden areas or shortcuts. The buildings in Stardust Speedway Act 2 are thought to be remnants of a futuristic city or part of Dr. Robotnik's industrial complex, adding depth to the level's background and narrative. In the future version of Hort's Quadrant, there are monitors with Sonic in the good future and Eggman in the bad future. These monitors are unusual because they don't serve the same purpose as technical idle monitors. They're just like background stuff. So it didn't really do anything. It's just good future, bad future, Sonic, Dr. Robotnik. That's it. This is just a unused animation where Sonic just sneezes, which is thought to be used after getting hit by one of the flying butterfly things in Collision Chaos. This refers to the music that was intentionally composed for the beta version of Sonic CD, but was later replaced or altered for the final release. These tracks are often darker or more experimental than the final versions. In Sonic CD, unused voice clips found in the game's data were planned for characters and some scenarios, but were never included. They offer insight into the game's development and ideas that were cut out, like most things in this game. I swear to God, they cut out like a good stuff, I swear to God. Special stages may have been influenced by the design of Super Mario Kart, which both features similar visual styles and gameplay mechanics, rotating 3D environments, and obstacle navigation. The influence is evident in the way the stages challenge players with intricate layouts and required precise control, reflecting design elements that were popular in early 90s platformers and racing games. The DA Garden theme was originally intended for a different zone known as R2, or a beta level. This track, with its style, was repurposed for the DA Garden zone, contributing to its unique atmosphere. The track's original purpose provides insight into the game's development and how music was relocated to fit different areas as the game's design evolved. This theory suggests that Amy's origin is just from Little Planet, because this is the first time we see her, and we see her on Palmtree Panic, the first stage. Some fans believe that zones in Sonic CD are inspired or based on the zones from the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. For example, Palmtree Panic might be seen as a variation of Green Hill, which what first zone isn't nowadays, bro? And Stardust Speedway could just be related to Starlight Zone. This is just talking about how each zone is set in their diverse location. Palmtree Panic, tropical and prehistoric, Collision Chaos, Neon Lake Carnival, Tidal Tempest, underwater, and so on and so on. Each zone also has their past, bad future, and good future variants, changing their appearance based on the time period. Floating islands and zones like Stardust Speedway and Collision Chaos may link to similar land masses in other games, like the Sky Sanctuary Zone in Sonic & Knuckles. These elements enhance the game's adventurous feel and reflect design influences across the series. Because, come on, if there's no floating island in a Sonic game, can you really truly call it a Sonic game, bro? Like, come on, there's always gotta be something in the sky. Well, this is talking about the Japanese animation studio responsible for the cutscenes in Sonic CD. Their work contributed significantly to the game's unique aesthetic and has been celebrated by fans over the years. Like many games of its era, there was an anti-piracy measure that would alter or break the game if an illegal mint copy was detected. Some fans speculate that certain strange or unexplained events in the game are a result of these anti-piracy measures. The US soundtrack of Sonic CD uses female vocals to appeal to the Western audiences, to create a unique identity for the US release, and to be different from the Japanese version. Take It by Alex Lee is a song related to the Sonic CD soundtrack. It was originally planned as part of the game's music, but was ultimately not included in the final release. The track is notable for its style and composition, reflecting the vibrant and energetic feel of the game's intended music. It remains of the interest to fans and researchers studying the game's music and development. Sonic CD's US past themes differ from the Japanese versions with more upbeat and rock influenced arrangements and distinct instrumentation, while the Japanese versions are more melodic and atmospheric. The signs in Collision Chaos have symbols and designs that fans have tried to interpretate or assign meaning to. Some believe they hint at the bordered lore of Sonic's universe, while others see them as purely aesthetic. The idea that metallic madness in Sonic CD is an artificial land suggests that the area was constructed by technological means rather than being a natural environment. This aligns with the overall theme of the level, which is heavily industrial and mechanical. The floating green plants in Sonic CD are one of the game's more enigmatic and visual striking features, especially within the context of Palmtree Panic Zone. These plants are notable for their ability to hover in midair, defying gravity, and adding an element of surrealism to the game's environment. A possible reference to the idea that metallic madness is set in a mine or industrial area where mercury is being extracted, adding a darker or more environmentally conscious layer to the game's setting. The time stones in Sonic CD are powerful artifacts with the ability to manipulate time. By collecting all 7, Sonic can create a good future in each zone, freeing the little planet from Dr. Robotnik's control. Their primary power is time manipulation, allowing travel between the past, present, and future. The mysterious setting of Sonic CD is a small celestial body that appears above Never Lake once a year. Its unique properties and magic nature have made it a subject of intrigue within the Sonic series. The little planet in Sonic CD is a mysterious world, and its inhabitants are a subject of much speculation. While the game doesn't explicitly detail who or what lives on the planet, there are several theories based on its environment and the creatures encountered. The little planet in Sonic CD offers glimpse into its past through the game's time travel mechanics, where the player can visit the past version of each zone. These past versions provide clues about what the planet might have looked before Dr. Robotnik's influence and before the events of the game. A specific technique where players use Sonic's Super Peel-Out move and pause the game to achieve certain effects or glitches, sometimes used in speedruns or just to explore levels in unintended ways. The theory that Act 2 of Stardust Speedway and Metallic Madness are between the present and the bad future versions of the respective zones suggests a traditional state in the timeline of Sonic CD. Metal Sonic's mouth design in Sonic CD features a series of metallic grills rather than a traditional mouth. This design choice emphasizes his cold, imitating presence and functional, emotionless nature. The theory suggests the US soundtrack of Sonic CD is based on the past themes of the Japanese version. This is because US music has a different style that might be adapted from or influenced by the melodies of the Japanese past tracks, leading to a unique but related sound. People from Ibiza by Sandy Martin is noted for its upbeat electronic style, which resembles to the US soundtrack of Sonic CD. Some speculate that the US music may have been influenced by this Eurodance track due to their similar energetic and synth-driven sound. A dark fan theory that suggests the "I'm out of here" animation where Sonic leaves the screen if the player is idle for too long is symbolic of something more sinister. Some interpret this as Sonic giving up or committing, due to an inaction of the player. A theory that Metal Sonic is not just a robot designed to look like Sonic, but is actually Sonic himself, who has been captured and roboticized by Eggman. This theory parallels the concept of roboticization seen in the Sonic Saturday Morning series. The theory that Little Planet, the setting for Sonic CD, is a symbiont being or entity with its own will and consciousness. This idea stems from the planet's ability to appear and disappear at certain times, as well as the mystery nature of its environment. This theory suggests that Sonic CD was originally planned to end at Stardust Speedway. This idea is based on the notion that the game's final level, Metallic Madness, might have been a later addition. The theory that the character in the Sonic CD Fun is Infinite Secret is actually Mario in disguise stems from visual similarities and playful speculation. Some fans suggest that the character who appears in the secret message resembles Mario because of the mustache, and leading to the idea that it's a playful nod to or crossover reference. A grim theory that suggests the bad future depicted in Sonic CD is a metaphor for dystopian real-world future where environmental destruction and technological domination lead to bleak existence. This theory often ties into the broader discussions of the game's themes. Now, this is the last entry. We made it, guys. And of course, we gotta end it off with every copy of Sonic CD is personalized. Inspired by the personalized copies creepypasta trend, this theory suggests that each physical or digital copy of Sonic CD has unique features, events, or secrets that differ from others, making every player's experience a little bit different. And we did it, guys. We did the entire iceberg. I know I missed out on a couple of topics on this thing, but there was just some I can't find, and I'm sorry about that. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and that's if you're eating your lunch, driving, doing other things, or sleeping, which if you're sleeping, when you wake up, rewatch. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, that'll be it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.